Fredericks Show. Joining us now from the 5th District, Republican Congressman Robert Hurt, getting ready for his own re-election to another term on Tuesday. Congressman, great to have you with us.
Thank you, John. Good morning. Glad to be with you.
Do you feel this trend? I can feel it through talking to people, emails, various public opinion surveys that are coming out. I think there's going to be a big night for Republicans on Tuesday across the United States, sir. How about you?
Well, as I travel across the district and I look at the different polls that are coming across the country, it does feel like we really may be on the cusp of something big. It seems like there's so much dissatisfaction with this president, his policies over the last 6 years, and, frankly, Harry Reid and the fact that he has done so much to obstruct bipartisan work in Washington. I think people are sick and tired of it, and they're ready to take it out on candidates that represent Harry Reid and his ilk.
Congressman Hurt, you've been frustrated, I know, in the House. You guys pass bill after bill after bill. Reid it never sees the light of day. It's got to be frustrating. I mean, you go in there every day, you try to do the right thing, and it goes nowhere. If there's a change come January, can you help our audience understand some of the things that are going to be different?
Well, look, since I was elected, I go to Washington with the values and the voice of the people that I represent. They expect me to go up there and do my best to represent what's in their best interest, and I strive to do that. The bills that we have introduced, for instance, are mostly aimed at job creating policy, things that make it easier for job creators, Main Street businesses, family farmers to succeed. The large majority of those bills have Democratic support. They're common sense measures. And so what has happened is when we get them passed off the floor, and we had 2 of them passed in the last month or so, off the floor, with bipartisan co-patrons, those bills go over Harry Reid's desk, and they never see the light of day. And it's so frustrating, and it's wrong for the American people. And at a time when we have places in Virginia's 5th District where we have unemployment rates as high as 10%, it's just unacceptable that there are people in Washington who continue to want to play games and as opposed to working for the American people. I hope that if Ed Gillespie and others are elected on November 4th and go to work on in January, and we have a new majority leader, that those bills will be taken seriously, and that they will be voted on. Now, we won't have. It's very unlikely. I don't know anyone's predicting that we'll have a 60-vote majority, so that does make it a little more difficult. But it means that we have a shot, a much greater chance of getting some things all through the Senate and get them onto the president's desk, instead of allowing the president just to hide behind Harry Reid's childish, obstruction, doing anything to advance this nation.
Congressman Hurt, Scott Ridgell the other day called Harry Reid the most dangerous man in America. Do you think that's accurate?
Well, he is certainly he is so childish in the way that he deals with this very important position. I think that I think that's certainly, you can certainly make that case, that because as a consequence of his inaction, his insistence on playing politics, what we've done is, again, we've seen for the 3 years, almost 4 years that I have been in Washington, what we have seen is somebody who plays games, refuses to work on budgets, to work on appropriations bills, and most important, to promote policies that are common sense, bipartisan policies that create jobs. And by his failure to do that, we have families that are suffering, and we haven't met our potential, and we've had a very sluggish recovery, if you want to even call it that. I mean, we have places with unemployment as high as 10%. That hurts people so badly. It hurts Virginia families terribly. This callousness and inaction and obstruction, and that's what we've seen out of Harry Reid.
Congressman, let's get. You were talking about jobs and things going on in Virginia, I want to get, if I can, very quickly to the Atlantic Coast Pipeline that's been proposed, running from, I guess, West Virginia to North Carolina, part of it through your district. And, so many times when you get one of these, it's so tough to balance growth, jobs. Obviously, you get a pipeline, good things happen. But then it also displaces people from their property. There's eminent domain. There's property rights. And I know you've been really in the middle of trying to figure this out. Can you help our audience understand what your position is on it and how you kind of balance the two entities, sir?
Well, I think it's important to look at the big picture. Clearly, the tremendous advances that we have made as a nation in terms of energy exploration, especially for natural gas, has and will continue to have a tremendous benefit for our country. And I support a robust domestic energy policy. That is one of the cornerstones, I think, of our economic recovery and future prosperity for this country. So that's the first thing that needs to be said. And there has to be a pipeline infrastructure that helps deliver that product where it needs to go. No question about it. When you start talking about actually building pipelines and the rubber meets the road,
right.
Obviously there's tremendous body of law that controls making sure that the pipelines are built in a way that ensures public safety and environmental health, period. And so what I've said is that while, generally speaking, I support the idea of making sure we have a robust infrastructure, by the same token, I think it is my responsibility to make sure that in the route meets the road, the route that is chosen, make sure that all the laws are followed, and that the rights of the citizens that I represent are safeguarded, and that's my responsibility. That pipeline proposal is still a proposal. It has not been filed with a concrete proposal has not been filed with the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, FERC. And so until we have something concrete to look at, it seems to me it's a little premature to weigh in on whether the route and the process for guaranteeing public safety and environmental health. It's a little early to comment on the route because we don't know exactly what route is going to be submitted. So that's that point. But the second point is that once that happens, clearly there's a process. There are legal rights that have to be honored, and I'm certainly committed to making sure that citizens that I represent that their rights are guaranteed.
Wow, follow the rule of law, Congressman. What a novel idea. It's 4 days to midterms. The noose around Harry Reid's neck getting a little tighter. McConnell's people in there measuring curtains, but still got 4 days. Let's see how it turns out. I predict GOP +9. New Hampshire makes 10, as they say. It's always New England. That's always the thorn in your side for some reason. Back with Congressman Robert Hurt from the 5th District of Virginia, Republican. Congressman Hurt, one of your colleagues, my congressman, so I have to start with a disclaimer. Randy Forbes is my congressman, and when we came to Southeast Virginia, my wife, the Fräulein, wanted to move into Randy Forbes' district. So that's why we actually chose to live. So we're big Randy Forbes people. And so I just want to start with that so we get all that out on the table. I'll do my disclaimer. Randy Forbes announcing yesterday that he's going to seek chairmanship of the House Armed Services Committee. I'm going to just ask you point blank, what do you think of that, and does he have your support, sir?
Well, let me begin by saying, when you look at how dangerous the world is today, and when you think about what a critical role Virginia plays in the defense of this nation, and the critical role that this state has played in the defense of this nation going back to 1776, we all, first of all, appreciate the service of our men and women in uniform, and we thank all those who make our military the finest on earth. And again, in dangerous times like this, recognize how important it is that we have unmistakable dominance, military dominance, period, to defend this nation and their interests. I've certainly enjoyed serving with Randy over the last 3 years. He's been a real mentor to me and somebody who I think is always, presents a clear-eyed view of things and demonstrates strong leadership. So I was very interested and pleased to hear that he is pursuing this. When you think about the fact that we have lost, as of January, will have lost a whole lot of influence in Washington just by the nature of the losses of Frank Wolf, Jim Moran, and Eric Cantor. Mm-hmm. Tremendous amount of seniority is lost. And as we head into tough budget times, the budget situation that we've seen over the last few years unfold has been difficult. It's going to continue to be difficult because we continue to borrow 15 cents on every dollar we spend, and we've borrowed $18 trillion over and above our $3.5 trillion budget. And so we need to have forceful, strong advocates for our national defense, and having somebody from Virginia with his kind of experience and his leadership skills, I think would be great.
That would be the best thing for Virginia, but more importantly, I think the best thing for our military and for the country as a whole. And I asked him the other day why he was pursuing it, and you can always get when congressmen give you quick off-the-cuff answers, it's because it comes from the soul and not from an index card or a script or something. And he said, the state of our military, John, he said, keeps me up at night. I'm just very, very concerned about where we're headed. The fact that we might not be prepared right now, and he was unsure if a crisis came up. For instance, if President Obama goes back to Congress, convenes it, lame duck session, Congressman, and asks for troops to go to Iraq to fight ISIS, is that even something that we're able to do?
Yeah, no, I think all those questions are things that we need to have good people leading us and making those decisions and making sure that we can answer yes on those questions. You think about everything that's going on in Syria and in Iraq, and then you think of what I think is probably the greatest threat to peace in the world, and that is a nuclear Iran. And then you think of what's going on with Russia and Putin's recent actions that call into question peace in Europe.
Right.
All of these things are terrifying to consider. And unfortunately, we've had, with all due respect to the president, we've had a commander-in-chief who has looked for every opportunity to withdraw and to project weakness. That's the bottom line. And we cannot be successful if we project weakness. We have to project unmistakable strength, confidence, and leadership. And when we do, that gives our allies confidence. When we don't, it makes them nervous, and I think completely erodes our ability to do things in a diplomatic way, to do things, to build coalitions that are important. We can't do that when the world thinks we're weak, and we have a president who I think, in many ways, by design, has tried to withdraw us from the world leadership stage.
Now we're paying a heavy price for that. We want to thank Congressman Robert Hurt from the 5th District of Virginia for being with us. As always, we appreciate, Congressman, you taking the time with us, and as always, your forthrightness and candor, and good luck in your re-election efforts, sir, on Tuesday.
John, thank you, and thank you for all you do to spread the word about these elections and about these issues. And I can tell you, I will be one of the people who will be following what you're writing on election night on JohnFredericksShow.com.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for that.